Ever get that feeling, like the room is spinning?
Yeah.
And I don't mean after one too many cups of coffee.
Right, not just your average caffeine headache.
We're talking vestibular migraines and
Yeah, a lot of folks, they don't realize how common this actually is.
it really is. And it's not just head pain either.
No, it's the dizziness, that vertigo that really takes over.
And it can make, honestly, even the simplest things feel impossible.
Absolutely.
So today we're diving deep, going to try to understand those dizzy spells.
Yeah, and we've got some really interesting research to dig into, including some new insights from the CareClinic app team.
I'm excited about that. So first things first, for anyone who might be new to this, what exactly are we talking about when we say vestibular migraines?
So it all starts with the vestibular system.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, think of it as your body's internal GPS.
Okay, like our sense of balance and direction.
Exactly. It's what keeps us oriented in space, knowing which way is up and down.
And how do migraines mess with that?
That's what's so fascinating. And honestly, researchers are still working on the full picture.
It's complicated, huh?
It really is. But we're learning more all the time. One theory is that it involves something called cortical spreading depression.
Okay, that sounds intense.
It is. It's like this wave of temporary disruption in brain activity that can affect how our brain interprets signals from our eyes, ears, especially the inner ear.
So our senses are getting all jumbled up.
Exactly. And because your brain is getting these mixed signals, it can lead to that really unsettling feeling of dizziness.
So it's more than just a misfire in the inner ear. It's this whole communication breakdown happening in the brain.
Precisely.
So then it's probably not just dizziness we're dealing with, right?
Oh, you're absolutely right. There's a whole range of symptoms that come with this.
Like what else besides feeling off balance?
Well, for example, some people experience lightheadedness,
Oh, yeah, I've heard that.
nausea even. And visual disturbances are pretty common too.
Visual disturbances.
Yeah, like seeing flashing lights or having blurry vision.
Wow, it really does sound like a sensory overload in the worst possible way.
It can be very disorienting, to say the least.
I read an account from someone who described it, wait for it, as feeling like they were on a rocking boat
Wow.
while sitting in a completely still room.
That's a powerful image, and I can see why people would struggle even with everyday tasks.
Absolutely, I can only imagine. So if our brain is essentially getting confused by all these messed up signals, what can we do to help it, get back on track?
Well, medication can definitely be part of the solution,
Okay.
but there's also a growing body of research showing that targeted exercises can be really helpful.
Exercise, so not just popping a pill.
Right, it's about giving your brain the tools it needs to better interpret those wonky signals.
Interesting. I've never thought about it that way.
Yeah, and remember, your brain is incredibly adaptable. It wants to learn, and exercise can help facilitate that process.
That makes sense. But how does it actually work? How does moving our bodies help with something like vestibular migraines?
Well, one of the key things is that exercise increases blood flow, and that means more oxygen is reaching your brain, including those important areas involved in your vestibular system.
So it's like giving those brain cells a boost.
Exactly. And when those cells are nourished, they can function more effectively.
Makes sense. What else? Are there other ways exercise helps?
Absolutely. When you exercise, your body releases these natural painkillers called endorphins. And these endorphins can be really helpful in managing the pain that often comes with vestibular migraines.
Oh, yeah. I've heard about those runner's highs. Endorphins.
Exactly. And we can't forget about stress. It's a huge trigger for a lot of people with vestibular migraines.
Oh, tell me about it.
But the good news is exercise is a fantastic stress reliever.
That's good because I think I hold all my stress in my shoulders.
It's so common. But yeah, when you exercise, your body releases all those feel-good hormones, like serotonin and dopamine. And that can really help counteract the negative effects of stress.
Okay, so we're talking about increased blood flow, pain relief, stress reduction. That's like a triple whammy against those vestibular migraines. But what kind of exercises are we actually talking about here?
That's the great thing. There's a whole range of options, and the best approach is really about finding what works best for you.
So what? No more goat yoga for me.
Well, if goat yoga helps, then go for it. But let's start with something like aerobic exercise.
Okay.
Things like brisk walking, swimming, dancing.
Got it.
These activities get your heart rate up, which, remember, leads to that increased blood flow to the brain.
Right. The brain boost.
Exactly. Now, another category that's really important is balance and coordination exercises.
Okay.
So these exercises, they specifically target that vestibular system, helping to strengthen it. We're talking about things like yoga, tai chi, Pilates even.
I can see how those would be good.
Yeah, these practices gently challenge your balance and coordination in a controlled way.
Right, so your brain and body kind of get used to handling those dizzy sensations.
Precisely. And last but not least, we can't forget about stretching and relaxation techniques.
Oh yeah, those are important too.
Absolutely. Things like gentle stretches, deep breathing exercises, progressive muscle relaxation.
Those are good.
They can do wonders for easing muscle tension, which is often a big part of the problem.
And just generally helping you relax.
Exactly. And that overall reduction in stress is key for managing those vestibular migraines.
So we've got cardio for the blood flow, balance exercises to retrain the brain, and relaxation techniques to manage the and tension. It's like we're putting together a game plan to tackle those dizzy spells.
Exactly. And like with any good plan, you got to find what works for you, right?
Yeah, totally.
And that's where the CareClinic app, they have some really cool stuff on tracking your progress.
Oh yeah, they're big on journaling, right?
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
Not just about the exercises, but also, like, what are your symptoms? Any triggers you're noticing?
So it's kind of like becoming, what, a detective for your own dizziness?
Exactly. You start to see those patterns.
Right, right.
What makes it worse? What brings relief? Which exercises really do the trick for you?
Data-driven dizziness management, I like it. But speaking of data, I mean, I imagine having all that tracked, that's got to be helpful when you're talking to your doctor too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Being able to show your doctor, hey, this is what I'm experiencing, this is how I'm reacting to these exercises, that's gold for them.
It makes sense, paints a clearer picture.
Totally. And that can help them fine-tune your treatment plan, make sure you're on the right path.
So for someone listening who's thinking, okay, this all sounds good, but where do I even start? What would you tell them?
First and foremost, talk to your doctor, especially if you're thinking about starting any new exercise routine or if you have other health things going on.
Always good advice.
Right. They can make sure it's safe, that you're doing it right, all that good stuff.
They're on your team.
Exactly. And it's important to remember, too, managing vestibular migraines, it's a journey. There will be good days and not so good days. You'll feel like you're finding your balance and then, bam, back on that tilt-a-whirl.
Been there.
But by understanding your body, trying these exercises, talking to your healthcare team, you can weather those ups and downs. You can take control.
That's what it's all about, finding that balance and feeling empowered. And hey, speaking of sharing, we always love hearing from you, our listeners. So if you've got any strategies for managing dizziness or vestibular migraines, whether it's a specific exercise or just something you've learned along the way, we want to know.
Absolutely. Sometimes just hearing from someone else who gets it, that can make all the difference.
It can be really powerful. Well, on that note, we're going to wrap things up for today. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and of course, stay balanced.